Well, ESPN continues its proud tradition of wokeness with a new documentary called Skin in the Game. It talks about how wonderful sports is and why it's so racist.
Are you retarded?
Yes, because as we all know, $1 million contracts, yeah, that'll put you all back in chains.
See, now that's some bullshit.
I'm Jazz Berganzo, and this is what's next. What's up, everyone? Jazz Berganzo, what's next? Your daily dose. Hope you guys are feeling good today on this Saturday. Well, we go to part 3 of ESPN's woke documentary, Skin in the Game. This time, Kendi X looks at America and sports at large as structurally racist. Prepare for a heavy dose of ignorance. And here we go. This comes out of Outkick. ESPN Ibrahim's Kendi documentary, ostensibly about sports, labels America structurally racist place. Previously, Outkick did a review on its first and second episodes of Skin in the Game. So yeah, bear with me. I'm catching this on the backside, but at the end of the day, you pretty much will get the gist. With that, we move on to episode 3, The Impossible Measure. The episode focuses on something called race norming, which I was vaguely familiar with prior to watching this docuseries. I was defined the practice of adjusting test scores to account for race and ethnicity of the test taker. The idea that our society believes that black people are on average less intelligent than white people. The NFL used this as a defense in a CTE lawsuit, arguing that black players deserve less compensation than white players because they started with a lower cognitive function, which of course is absolute bullshit. Brain damage or brain concussions has no flavor. I'm certainly not going to defend the NFL here. In fact, what it did goes out against everything I believe. Simply put, everyone should be held to the same standard. Most rational thinking humans hold this belief. The standard should apply in all aspects. See the problems here. Kendi and his guest in this episode argue that black players should be held to the same cognitive standards as white players when it comes to payouts for health issues related to CTE playing football. I agree. But I bet they also believe in affirmative action. Of course, you know, affirmative action has been banned by the Supreme Court. So, in fact, I'm certain Kendi does. In banning affirmative action, the Supreme Court has not banned using race in college admissions. Race neutral is the legal fantasy, The latest to conserve racisms, as Uma Jayakumar and I write in The Atlantic, race neutral is the new separate but equal, and of course, it's bullshit. The idea of race-neutral admissions metrics like test scores is a fantasy. Like the court doctrine and segregated schools were separate but equal. We've shown how several admissions metrics advantage Black, Latinx. Again, there's a word, a dead word, that no Latino respectfully actually uses. Native and many Asian students. And you want to talk about being denied, Asian students are the most vilified when it comes to getting into college. They don't want them because they would rather check off boxes. Facts. Right. So Kendi argues that race neutral is a fantasy. So he wants testing scores to be the same when it comes to NFL paying head injury settlements. But he wants black students to be held to a lower standard when it comes to test scores for college admissions. That's a bit hypocritical. You think? For what it's worth, the NFL denies wrongdoing when it's regarding testing former athletes for potential financial compensations from head injuries. One of the actors in this episode is someone named W. Kamau Bell. In his biographical, Bars for the Show, ESPN calls him a comedian, host, and author. I'll have to take their word for it. Drink water, love hard, fight racism. Bell says he's not surprised by the NFL uses race norming since the league in the United States. Thus, by far, they are racist. Quote, I was reminded that the NFL exists in a place called America, and America is structurally a racist place, Bell says.
When I heard that the NFL was using race norming to compensate former NFL players, i.e. paying black ex-NFL players less, I was reminded that the NFL exists in a place called America, and America is a structurally racist place.
And the reason why this wonderful person can't get a real job. Just saying. Here we go. We're no longer talking about the NFL's practices anymore. No, this is an American problem. Dang, I thought for a moment this was going to be about the NFL. No, we're right back to this horrible country called the United States of America. Yes, millions of people want to come here every year, but as we all know, it's such a racist place, a bigoted place. Why would anybody want to come here? Except for, I don't know, something called the American Dream. But anyway, the docuseries shifts quickly from Bell to Jamel Hill. Excellent. Quote, when you have this idea of sports that one group is inferior to another group, it shows up in how we talk about sports, Hill says. This is the same Jamel Hill who got fired from ESPN, yes, because of her racisms. Nice. Believing that one group is superior to another group is wrong, but when you believe black people are inferior to white people, but it's perfectly fine when you believe that white people are inferior to black people. Did I get that right, Jamel? Jamel Hill despises white people so much that even when black people kill black people, yes, it's called Chicago, in the fault of white people and white supremes. And that's Carmine Sabia. Jamel Hill. This is so on brand for this country. Record number of black voters showed up to save this democracy. Really? Did they? Did they really? Only for the white supremes to be upheld by a cowardly, power-hungry white dude. Senator Joe Manchin is a clown. Yes, because we all know 81 million people voted for the demented one who currently occupies the White House. Yes, of course it did. What I would say is this. Did you or your parents wonder how black, brown, or alphabet people felt when those commercials acted like they didn't exist? White people are accused of being the center of everything. A slight shift, and they lose it. Jamel Hill loves to generalize about white people, but immediately screams racisms when the role reversed. Yet, you see, ESPN happily puts her on camera and lets her lecture about the problems with racisms. That's a bit hypocritical, don't you think? Funny how they're airing her even though she's been fired from the network. Sure. The show moves on with former NFL player Lewis Leonard. Leonard explains how the NFL and football in general didn't take concussion seriously until recently. Yes, we know this information. Why? We had euphoric terms like "got your bell rung." Yeah, remember that? I'm white and I played sports. No one cared about my head more than anyone else's, regardless of skin color. That's just the way it is. Suck it up and get back out there, every coach to every player. Now, we all know the risk associated with football. Yes, many people still choose the profession. Why? Because it comes with a lot of perks, money, fame, popularity. Many are willing to accept the consequences, knowing the risks. That's called America. It's like smoking cigarettes. Every pack contains a product that says can give you lung cancer, but you're free to choose to do it. Freedom of choice, not freedom from consequence. Well said. When it comes to black quarterbacks in particular, the NFL's gone a long way to keep the position as white as the painted yard lines on the field. Martinzi Johnson. Michael Benton continues the thought process by saying that the people still don't believe that black players can be quarterbacks. That's an interesting argument given that 13 of the current NFL starting crop are black and 3 quarterbacks are in the top 4 of the most recent NFL draft. Plus, several black quarterbacks are among the highest paid players in the league. So that got all blown to hell.
Indeed, I scored, I think, about 1,000 on the SAT, which wasn't particularly a high score. And so based on my standardized test, I was certainly not supposed to go on to get a PhD, to become a best-selling author, to win a Genius Award, because we've been told that these test scores predict who's going to do well and who's not going to do well. So what that means is the test of the problem. Intelligence.
Yes, the testing is the problem. Kenny believes that his story proves the point about racism. I would argue that it flies him directly in the face of it. He says that intelligence is subjective while patting himself on the back for being a genius. Yes, a super genius. Which is hilariously ironic, and that America is racist. Except he's a black man who performed poorly on tests and went on to become a multimillionaire in the United States. Of course, now he's broke. Sounds like a place that allows anyone to succeed regardless of skin color, doesn't it? That's well. This video went on a little bit longer than I thought it would, so I'm going to do some editing, cut it down a bit. But the fact of the matter is that Ibram X. Kendi, Henry Rogers, puts testing on full blast, but yet still wants all the perks. Testing is bad. Affirmative action, good. But if testing is so bad, Why would you want affirmative action? How about you study harder? You spend more time at the library, online studying, and less social media activity. I'm just saying, just putting that out there. But when it comes to clowns like Kendi and Jamel Hill, Jamel Hill was the same person who was throwing racist comments at Trump during his presidency. And of course, she got laughed at and eventually got fired. But yet, ESPN just can't stay away, so they keep bringing her back. And of course, every time they bring her back, IQ points continue to drop off. More people leave ESPN and go to Fox Sports or other sports venues to get their fix on something called sports. Just saying. Yes, there are racist aspects. We have racist individuals in America. We don't have a collective racisms in America. America is still the land of opportunity. No matter what color you are, no matter what ethnicity you are, male or female, you still have the opportunity. It all depends what you do with it. And with that being said, I'm Jazz Borganzo. This is What's Next. Want to see more like this? Please leave a comment below. Like it, share it, subscribe to it, hit the notification bell so you guys never miss a thing. And we'll see you next time. Peace.